It is the fifth Sunday in Lent, and on liturgical year A, we hear from the Gospel the pericope of the Resurrection of Lazarus. The reaction of Jesus after seeing Lazarus' sister's sorrow is noteworthy. He feels troubled. Why did that happen to him? What lies behind that sentiment in Jesus, who always seems to be in full control of things? Stay tuned, and we will find out. Hello, this is your friend Mauricio Perez. The fifth Sunday in Lent is known as Passion Sunday. It is today that images of saints can be covered in churches and remain as such until before the celebration of the Easter Vigil in the Holy Night of the Resurrection of the Lord. In liturgical year A, we hear from the Gospel according to John the pericope of the Resurrection of Lazarus, which concludes the catechetical triptych that unfolds through the third, fourth, and fifth Sundays in Lent to prepare catechumens for their baptism and thus to renew our baptismal promises during the Easter Vigil. On the third Sunday, we saw Jesus, during his encounter with the Samaritan woman, manifesting himself as the fount of living water, which refers us to the waters of baptism. Last Sunday, we saw Jesus healing a blind man and manifesting himself as the light of the world, which refers us to the light of Jesus we receive from the Paschal candle when we are baptized. Today, we see Jesus as the resurrection and the life. The resurrection of Lazarus from the grave into a new life refers us to our baptism, when our life of sin is buried under the waters, so we can emerge into the new life as children of God. I am the resurrection and the life, declares Jesus. This is actually the main liturgical idea of today's Gospel. Reading it in its original in Greek, we see Jesus saying, "Ego imi, I anastasis ke izoi." Ego imi, I anastasis ke izoi. The expression ego imi is noteworthy. It is the translation in Greek in the Septuagint of the name of God in the Hebrew Scriptures, I am. This is one of the 7 times in the Gospel according to John that Jesus uses the name of God, I am, ego imi, to refer to himself. This time to show himself as God, who is the resurrection and the life. When Jesus gets to Bethany, he sees the sorrow of his beloved friend Martha, but more importantly, he notices her strong faith. She believes Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and the one who is coming to the world. In response, he promises her friend that her brother will resurrect because Jesus is the resurrection and the life. After meeting Martha's sister, Mary, and seeing her sorrow as well, he asks them to lead him to Lazarus' grave. At that moment, Jesus becomes perturbed and deeply troubled. This sentiment of Jesus links the death of Lazarus and his soon-to-happen resurrection to his own death and resurrection, and does so in a very dramatic fashion. Jesus becomes perturbed and deeply troubled. This is expressed in the original Greek with the word tarasso. Tarasso. We find this word again, tarasso, at the Last Supper, also according to John, right before the Lord announces that one of his disciples will betray him. Jesus becomes perturbed and deeply troubled at the supper, for he knows that by announcing there is a traitor, this will lead him to send Judas out to do what he has to do. Judas will become overtaken by Satan with no remedy, and this will lead Jesus ultimately to his death on a cross. Here as well, right before asking the people there to take him to Lazarus' grave, where he will perform his revival, he feels perturbed and deeply troubled, for he knows this action will make the Jewish authorities make the decision to put an end to his life. Bringing his beloved friend Lazarus back to life will cost Jesus his own life. So he becomes perturbed and deeply troubled, as he will in the Last Supper before announcing there is a traitor among them. Don't be mistaken. We can get amazed by the power of Jesus, who is able to bring a dead man back to life. That's not the point. Behind Jesus' sentiments about his saving action, we must see how great his love is for his friends, He is ready to give his own life if that is the price to pay to save us. Jesus is ready to pay the big price of giving his own life in exchange to save yours, to save mine. This is something we must never forget. This is something we must take seriously. How ready are we to live in a way that justifies the trade Jesus has made for us, his beloved friends, and for our salvation? Until next time, be passionate about our faith.